What's up, guys, and thank you for watching Inside Gator Nation. This is the Florida-Tennessee preview. Florida takes on Tennessee at Rocky Top at 3:30 p.m. Saturday on CBS. But real quick, before we get into all that, I just want to say that Florida basketball is into action today at 2:30 at the Hall of Fame Bubbleville Classic. After their first couple games of the year were scratched, and the big one against Oklahoma, those get replaced with Army today at 2:30. And Thursday night, they'll be playing Boston College at 9:30, both televised on ESPN2. So be sure to check that out. Root on our Florida basketball team. I know I will. And I also just wanted to say really quick that I'm going to be covering Florida basketball as well, but probably not until the football season winds down and it gets into the thick of things in basketball season. That's when really everybody's watching anyways, gets into conference play. Although I will say we do have, or at least we did have, quite a few really good, tough non-conference matchups. Not sure which of those still stand. I don't know, Oklahoma was scratched, but I'll pay more attention to that as the season gets on. Also, some breaking news for Florida. Florida running back Iverson Clement, enters the transfer portal. He was probably fourth on the depth chart. In fact, after 3 years on campus, this guy only had 12 carries for 94 yards. Actually, not bad for the 12 carries. He was a 4-star recruit, and he had recorded one tackle on special teams. Very good move for him. Not mad at him at all in the least. I really respect his wishes, and I wish him the best of luck. Hopefully he finds a program where he fits in at and can get a lot of minutes. So the best of luck for him. I know that our running back room is loaded next season, and that was probably the best move. But he'll always be a Gator. I'm really surprised he's stuck on campus as long as he did. Coaches really kind of tried to make him happy, and he got some carries this year. But overall, the future for him is just, there really isn't one. We are loaded with 5-star and 4-star recruits at that position. Moving on to some recruiting news for both the Vols and the Florida Gators. There's a new crystal ball favorite for 5-star corner Jaheim Singletary. He'll be making his decision on January 2nd. And he's out of Jacksonville, Florida. There is a crystal ball by Blake Alderman predicting that he will eventually sign with Florida. Also, 5-star linebacker Terrence Lewis, who was a target for the Florida Gators, committed to the Volunteers and is now decommitting from the Volunteers. The crystal ball has him going to Auburn. Florida was in the mix prior to him signing with the Vols. Well, not signing, but committing. So there is, maybe Florida gets back into the mix here, but so far there's 2 crystal balls logged for Auburn, so not quite likely, although I would love to see us pursue that guy. He is an absolute beast. Go check him out on 247 Sports. And also, news gets bad for Volunteers. More bad news. The Vols have about 16 players in quarantine for the Florida game. This all follows after there was 2 positive tests last week. So due to contact tracing, they have 16 players who are going to quarantine, and that includes one quarterback. They did not release which quarterback that is, but one quarterback would be quarantined. Some of those guys could be available for the Florida game, though, with 0 practice time. They could be ready before Saturday. So that's to be determined. Also, even more bad news in Knoxville. The Vols dismissed starting linebacker and edge rusher Kevon Bennett following an arrest Tuesday morning for drugs and weapons on campus. So the news just keeps getting worse for the Volunteers. Their program seems to be just unraveling at the helm of Jeremy Pruitt. You can bet that he's now on the hot seat He was doing so well during the offseason with all these recruits. He even had them in the top 5 in recruiting. Now players see the state of the program and are jumping off ship. So look for Jeremy Pruitt to be on the hot seat. I don't really expect them to compete in this game given all the circumstances. But if there is an equalizer, it would be the weather in Knoxville for Saturday. If you look, you can expect midday showers. It's going to be 45 degrees at kickoff and 42 degrees by the end of the game. That's not good weather for Florida people like myself and the Florida Gators. That could be an equalizer in this game. Could be a little sloppy. It's going to be really wet, cold, and just awful football weather. So I really feel for those guys. I hope it's not too much of a factor in this game. Getting into the stats, put up the stat chart here. Tennessee averages 20 points a game compared to Florida, who averages 43 points a game. They allow 31 due to the Volunteers. Florida surprisingly allows 25. At the beginning of the year, it was much higher than that, so props to getting that number down to 25. Passing yards per game, they only average about 184. That's good news for Florida's secondary, who has been struggling as of late, despite a good outing against Kentucky. And Florida puts up a whopping 369 yards per game. Rushing yards per game, Tennessee is at 155. That's really the only concern I have for these offensive statistics for the Tennessee Volunteers. They do rush the ball pretty decent. Florida has brought that number up to 139. That's not too shabby given the amount of production we get in the passing game. It's just enough to keep teams balanced and keep them honest in their defensive play calling. And yards allowed, pass and rush, Tennessee allows 243 passing yards a game. That is not good news for them. I guess that's not really that terrible. But given that they average 243, I expect they're going to give up way more than their average this Saturday. They only allow 161 yards rushing. I guess that's pretty average. Florida gives up 243 through the air as well. Pretty ironic, we give up the same amount through the air. However, I see us only allowing about our average, or maybe even less than average, depending on who the starting quarterback is. Remember, I said they do have a quarterback in quarantine. That person is yet to be named. I guess we won't know until hours before kickoff. And Florida gives up 143 yards on the ground, also improved compared to what we were at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to introduce a new segment to the show this week. This will be the first of many, but for those of you who don't know my story or aren't really familiar with me and is new to the channel, I've recently had a newborn. He's newish born, I should say. He just turned 6 months old, and I'm going to start this segment. It's called Rex's Pick of the Week, where he's going to choose the winner and loser of each game each week. And I'm going to log his picks and keep them down, to keep his record intact, to see how well he does for the rest of the season and on into the seasons to come. I have not trained him in any way, nor coached him or anything like that. With that in mind, check out this video. You gotta pick one. Which one are you gonna pick?
Wait, you don't have them on the screen.
It's because you didn't put them in the screen. Oh!
Yeah!
Oh! Is that the one? Let's see if he get. He's got to get it though.
He did.
He's got to grab it. You didn't. You put it far.
Really?
That's all right though. He's going. He's determined for that Florida one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's my boy. That's my boy. I love you. You probably hear him in the background of most of my videos, and it's crazy to believe, but that was the first and only take of that video. The kid clearly bleeds orange and blue and takes after his daddy. And I must agree with him for this game. I'm going to go Florida 39, Tennessee 20. For those gamblers out there, if you like to bet on the game, Florida will cover the spread. The spread's at 16.5 at this particular point in time, so we will cover. And I'll see you after the game for the post-game show. Go Gators. If you like today's video, please remember to hit the like button down below, share, and subscribe for all the latest Gator news all year long. From recruiting to matchup previews, post-game highlights, and much more.